Hi, everyone. Welcome to this open house orientation for our new batch of the doula training, beginning with Seminar 1. So nice to see all of you. Some of you we've been in touch with over the last couple of months, years. So it's good to see you guys here. Most of you already have probably gone through a lot of the details that were there in the brochure and the website and everything. So this is really going to be an interactive open session to answer all your questions. Maybe we'll begin with a little bit of a refresher about the course and the design and stuff. So some of your common questions may get readdressed. And then we'll just open it up to whatever it is that you want to ask, you want to share. If you would like to also share a little bit about what brings you here and interests you, that'll be nice to hear. So we can maybe do a round. So in terms of just opening this, you all already know what we're here for. We do start a new batch every year. It's been 6 years. Am I right?
Yeah. This is our 6th year.
This is our 6th year since the doula training has been running. And of course, I was in the first batch and I started off as a student, and then I decided to never leave. And I just kept coming back to the trainings every year. And the way it's designed is that once you're enrolled, you're enrolled. So you are welcome to come back and refresh your knowledge in that sense every year. So I did that. I kept coming back, and you will also meet some of our past students who are, sorry, some of the past students who want to come back and, because we do not believe that doula training is like a one-time thing where you come and you learn and you go. It is really an ongoing activity of engaging and learning and continuously adding layers of knowledge, of confidence, of experience through the community. So the training is in that sense, while there is the 1 year seminar-wise curriculum and plan, it then opens up into the community where you can participate, you can take part in community events, you can keep coming back to the training. And I think most of us find that that's what makes it really interesting. It's not a typical certification course where you go and you do something and leave. So in terms of, before I kind of get into the design a little bit, Divya, would you like to share a little bit to the group about the basic ethos of the Doula Collective and also the foundation on which the training program is built? That might be a good starting point, and then I'll get into some of the details.
Sure. Thank you, Neha. So, birth is highly cultural. We're all born into a culture. There's care, antenatal care, our ethos, our philosophies are also cultural per se. And then there is the biological needs of the mother, which unfortunately everybody thinks is medical, but actually not so. There are physiological, psychological needs of the mother as well. And we find that psychology often drives biology, which means your physiological functions are a direct result of where you are in your head as well. And so when I did my course, or when I started, all the information coming from the West, and also a lot of midwives and doulas coming from the West to work here in India, such a large population. One of the things I observed often is that even though the Indians would trust them, they would not actually open up to them, and that is why there is a cultural element to it. We have to understand that we cannot only intellectually influence somebody around birth. We have to be in sync with who they are as people. And while we aspire to the Western ideology, there are certain things about our culture which are really a community. So if we look at the East and the West, it's community versus individualism. And birth is a community event. We need people around us. We don't always need intellect around us. We also need people around us who get us. So in that sense, we want to look at culture, but not from the lens of West and East, but the lens of how we are programmed by culture. So there are subtle messaging around us from the minute we are born, even prenatally, before we are born, that set us up to a certain way of a belief system. And that is where our second seminar goes. And why I've started from the second, and I will circle back to the first. So we started to work deeper into that. What do we do to find a connect, not just me and the client, but also the client's mind and body and psyche. Where are they coming from? And then as that evolved and I started to work over the years that I worked, I realized that if we do 1 + 1, it not always turns out to be 2. And then and as I started to learn about trauma, I realized that it is the most simplest thing that somebody may say, like a word, might be a trigger for somebody else. So a lot of people would say the word overwhelmed and have different connotations on it. So some people would say overwhelmed and primarily mean that it's negative. And others would say overwhelmed to say that too much has happened, like it's going too fast. And some people would also get overwhelmed in a positive way. So that very simple word of overwhelm can actually change people's experience. So then we brought in the trauma-informed care, and I said, we can't do this without it, because then we understand the need of the prenate, the mother in pregnancy, what happens afterward, what somebody said or did. And there's a very popular line saying that a woman may forget what happened at birth, but she would never forget how she felt. And when we hear narratives of women's stories, it's about their feelings more than it is about what actually happened. So 2 people getting induced can have very different experiences. 2 people having natural birth can have very different experiences. 2 people having C-sections can have very different experiences. And of course, we never talk about the baby, that the baby is having an experience. So that became Seminar 3. And then I want to circle back to Seminar 1. Seminar 1 has everything that any other doula program has, which is positions, medical interventions, birth plans. But the main difference you'd find if you compare the curriculum to any Western program, we do not talk about marketing and business. We do talk about, in great detail, about prenatal meetings and how we go about, getting to interact with the parents we work with, because I realized that the work that you've put in between 9 to 5 on a working day is going to save you the effort between 5 and 9 on a Labor Day. So while you don't want to market yourself, I mean, that you would have to find ways of putting yourself out there. But because of our cultural context and our medical system, that would be kind of restricted, and community can take you further. Like when we go together as Doula Collective, we have more power than an individual saying that I'm a doula, where big hospitals say, oh, well, who are you? So as an entity, we were more powerful, but we would spend that extra time talking about how to debrief a birth with your client, or how to meet them in postpartum care. So that doesn't just leave you as a birth doula, but makes you across the board supporting through continuity towards the postpartum as well. So these were the ethos on which we thought that it would be a different training from the rest of the world. And of course, community was our key, because like I said, together we are stronger.
Sorry, I was on mute. Thank you, Divya. Just adding a few points to that. I think that generally about doula work, especially in India, is that it's an extremely new concept. Most people haven't even heard the concept of a professional doula. I mean, you have, of course, family and friends, but hiring someone to be your companion is not something that we hear of much. And so we're pretty much kind of creating our own space in this work, and which is why, and it's also an extremely unorganized space. There is no sort of body that governs ethics and quality of professional practice in doula work, and therefore there are all kinds of doulas. Anyone can call themselves a doula. There are various certification programs. It's really about, I think, us deciding who we want to be, and which is why we feel as a community, when we are in sync, when we learn together, when we work together, when we interact, when we engage, we've kind of over the years been finding our own, you can say, value system as a doula collective. And so while a lot of people ask, what is the value of the certification? I don't think the certification matters. No one has really ever asked me till today to show me their certificate, to show me my certificate. I don't think even Divya has ever been asked to show, because it's not, people are not looking for certificates. They're looking for connection. They're looking for feeling that comfort and safety. And that is something that you cannot learn in just a course. You have to learn it. It's a value system. that you kind of imbibe and you share with each other. So we've been very consciously building that. And I think over the years, we have a lot of clarity now on who we are and what we stand for. And we will at one point in the course, as well as with the community, we do have discussions on what is our ethics, what will we do, not do, because when we are all clear about that, then Doula Collective doulas stand out quite distinctly from anyone else who offers these services. So that is what we feel. We are not going to go down the chasing the government to, get some kind of stamp on the certificate course. That's not the value that we find. We can do that. And we have been doing collaborations with different organizations, but that's not the value. The value will come from each of us. The manner in which we interact with the world, the manner in which we interact with medical community that we work with, the manner in which we interact with other doulas, other birth professionals. That is what is going to sort of talk of what Doula Collective is. And that's the way we kind of structured the course and the community. Coming to a few things about the course, because I know that you've already gone through the brochure. So as Divya was saying, it is, it's layered learning. And so the learning is very nuanced, and which is why we've kind of changed the course over the years. And the design is that, so so first, if you talk about seminar 1, there are these 24 weeks where there's one module in each week, and there's one topic that we cover in each week. Before you come to the live class, so there's one weekly webinar, which is a live Zoom class every week, and we will fix the day and time for that. Before you come for that, there is some pre-reads and videos that are pre-uploaded. So the content part, the theory part, is already put up in a few videos, which are basically videos from previous year's trainings that Divya has kind of compiled. And it's, I would say, about half an hour to 1 hour of time that you need to invest to complete that pre-read before you come in for the live class. And then the live class, when we begin from all having gone through that enriches the discussion. So we're not going to, it's not going to be a classroom format where there's going to be a presentation and theory, because you've already gone through that. The class is going to be interactive. It's going to be, we're going to do some exercises. We're going to do some role plays. We're going to do some sharing on what came up when you learned this. We're going to, maybe discuss scenarios and birth stories. So the class is going to be that kind of a format. It's not going to be a teaching format. And so therefore the onus on doing that pre-work is on you, because when you do that pre-work and come into the class, you're really able to draw value from learning in that interaction. So that's how every week is. So about an hour or lesser of your pre-work, an hour is the interactive class. And then some of the modules have some assignments. Not all of them. So I think in the whole of seminar 1, there are around 4 or 5, Divya, 5 assignments through the 24 webinars. And we've done that so that you have at least about 2-3 weeks to complete an assignment. And the assignments are typically stuff that you need to write, do some research, maybe create a document on something. So maybe another few more hours of work to complete those assignments through those 24 weeks. That's kind of pretty much your minimal commitment, I would say, in terms of time is. So about 2 to 3 hours a week. But if you're able to give that 2-3 hours every week, by the end of 24 weeks, you have cumulatively put in a lot of time and you will feel a lot more confident. And I'm saying this because sometimes, in these online classes, what happens is that you end up just being there during the class. This format will not work like that. It's really important to do that, because the material is all up there. So I would say, do come in with that commitment saying 2 hours a week plus a few extra hours through this 24 weeks I can take out. And I know that some of you have young children, you have other things that you do. And so this kind of fits in with that. You're not like spending 5 whole days or 4 whole days, leaving everything to attend the training. It's spread out over 24 weeks. So that is one. And then I would say of course, the next layer to that is then participating in community stuff. So we have monthly webinars. We have, sometimes guests coming in. We put up movies in the movie club. We sometimes have little projects that we do. So like in Doula Week, we all did these meetups and we did like some content creation around that. So that is all completely voluntary. But the more you participate with the community, sort of the more we learn through our peer interactions, and the more we are able to, and definitely city level. So those of you who are at a location where there are a few other doula trainees, we highly encourage that, we meet at least once in a month or two, kind of share what's going on, how work is, other things that come up during the training. So that is, I would say, those are the sort of added ways to enhance being part of this collective. And seminar 1 takes about 5 to 6 months, and we take a short break, and then we get into seminar 2, which is about 2 months, and then another short break, and then seminar 1, which is about 10 weeks. You do have the complete flexibility to decide if you need to take a pause. So you may, after doing seminar 1, decide to say that, okay, I'm not yet ready to do seminar 2, so I'm not doing it this year. I'll do it next year. That's absolutely fine. If you would like to go one after the other and complete them all within a year, that's also fine. And sometimes you may start, and then after a few weeks, something may come up in life. Sometimes you're having a child, sometimes you have a new job, and you're unable to follow through. And we recognize that. So we have also given that option to people to come back and join again next year. So if you've already paid some amount, that amount does remain parked with us, and you can come back in the next year and restart. So you will find in our current batch, there were a few people who weren't able to follow through last time, so they're coming back this time. And then, like I said, once you have completed one seminar, you are enrolled in that seminar for life. So you can come back every year, you have access to the material forever. So you can go back to the material as well as the webinars and the reading material. And so there is no sort of recertification required in that sense. Once you complete the seminar and you've completed the requirements of the seminar, you complete the certifications. When I say requirements of the seminar, it's simple. One is attendance. So actually coming for the live classes doesn't mean 100% attendance, because we completely understand that there are things happening sometimes, but something like at least 7 out of 10 classes being there is necessary, because then that means you are committed. If we see that someone is not able to come for more than 7 out of 10 classes, that means you don't really have the bandwidth to deal with that. So we would advise you to take a pause rather than just, there's no tick mark certification. There's genuine kind of showing up and learning that we're looking for, participation in the class, completion of the assignments, and just being involved in whatever way you can in the community. That's it. That is what it takes for you to complete the course and certify it. There is no exam or assessment, because we don't believe doula work is like that. It's just you're sort of being there and being interested and participating and learning is what that is needed, nothing more than that. So yeah, that's kind of a little bit from my side. Do you guys have questions at this point? Or should we get a few inputs from some of the existing doulas, trained doulas, some training? Maybe we'll take, if you have any questions.
There's one on the chat.
Okay, I missed that. How do you, as doulas with experience, interact and convince the medical professionals that you can be of help for the mother without being someone who will create resistance for the medical team? Okay. Would any of the other doulas like to answer that question? Yogyata, would you like to answer the question for the group? Yogyata has been
I'm
a doula.
sorry, can I just add to that question?
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
So I have the same question, and to add to that, in a place like Kolkata, where I don't think doulas exist,
Yeah.
Oh, I lost
We
you.
lost you. Your sound is gone.
Your picture's
Am I
also
audible?
gone. Yeah.
Now you're back, but I think it's still breaking.
Yeah, so I was just asking that in a place which is very, very rigid to accepting anything,
Yeah.
like Kolkata, which has the highest C-section rates in our country.
Yeah. That's not very different in other parts of the country, honestly. Everywhere it's similar, maybe slight differences here and there. We have Kanya from Sri Lanka, and she was telling me it's not very different, I think, there either. So And also, you know, it's not like other cities have so many doulas. In Bangalore, we are a handful of us. In Delhi, there are also a handful of us. And these are the cities that have more. So you're not in a very unique situation. We are all working in a situation where doulas are not really known and understood. And so the resistance comes from really not knowing. I don't know who you are. So why should I have you in my team? I'm suspicious of what you're going to tell my client. I'm suspicious that you're going to, tell my client things that may be against what I would advise. So that is not a very uncommon scenario that you're facing. And I think a lot of us kind of bounce off these challenges with each other and try to find solutions. I'm going to ask anyone else if they would like to respond to that.
I would. I'd like to say a little bit to it. So the question, I want to break it down into a few pieces. First part is you don't have to convince anybody that you are going to offer something that is of value, because you can define it. The person you support defines it. It's not for you to define that I am valuable. They'll define it. Secondly, in a place which has such abject conditions like you're saying, and I'm aware of Kolkata, but a lot of my hypnobirthing clients came from Kolkata. No other place has more need for this than anything else. Thirdly, and I'm going to really break it down into small pieces. Thirdly, you're not going to make her go from 0 to 100. So it won't be that she was completely going to be cut up and now she's going to have a home birth with a midwife. That's not going to happen. But when she goes to a doctor in a situation that is so closed or so autocratic, if I may use that word, your presence is going to change her experience. It will be much harder for you to make it a little bit easy for her. So that's where the passion will come. And when the doctors notice, and they will notice, you will not convince them anything, they will notice that there is very little resistance to their bullshit, despite of you knowing the truth, and a lot of benefit for their client, they will invite you. And that may take time, and you may be a pioneer, and then everybody who follows you will reap the benefit of it. So if this is going to be, oh, I did the hard work, why should everybody, then this is not a profession for you anyways. But imagine if your presence makes it bearable for a woman to deal with the anxiety and uncertainty and pressure she's feeling from family, because I know what kind of families are there and the kind of strong hold they have on the daughter-in-laws. If that tiny differential you make to the mother and that affects the baby's life, how do you value that? That question would be yours to answer, Sonia. And also, I'm not sure who asked that question, so I'll have to check the name again. Yeah. Asisha. So you cannot, and you can also in some way, you can say that I'm here to offer, and that's how you present yourself. And what will then help is that we will have a proper document from the doula collective. It's happening in Delhi, it's happening in Bangalore, it's happening in Coimbatore, Gurgaon. And I represent that ethos, and I'm here to support the mother. This is the benefit. And I'm not here to step on your toes. And that is our in. If we fight, they will defend. But what if we don't fight? What do you think they'll do? And it'll take a lot of hard work. So, but
many of us here have seen that shift happening within just a few years of working.
Yeah.
You go in, you're like, it's a fairly hostile environment. You're not recognized, you're not seen, there's defense. And then within a few births, it changes. We've seen that happening. And then doctors ask, where is the doula? Or, maybe you should get a doula, or, doulas they change. So it's a slow, you cannot expect it to happen fast. But if you, like Divya said, if you believe in the value that you are bringing and you are focused on what you're there for, you're not there to convince anyone about anything. You're just there to support that mother in the way that she needs at that time.
So you are the ray of hope in that, whatever that abject situation is. Also, they may be hostile to you. What are you doing? That is an important aspect. Because if you keep stirring the pot, the mud and the water will never separate and it will be a muddy water. But if you are calm and you say, yes, of course, and you say upfront, I will not, my job is not to confront the doctor, or in this situation, how can I make it a little bit more tolerable for my client? And in the end, the client looks at the doctor and says, thank you, doctor. I couldn't have done it without you. While you are standing by her side, and that will happen to you. And you smile and you look at the doctor and you smile at the doctor. How far do you think they will stay hostile? They won't. Everybody who's hostility means I'm threatened by. So how do we manage? So that's also a part of what we talk about in our prenatals and how we present ourselves. That is where the ethos of the Doula Collective is what takes us through. Neha, back to you.
I have a question.
Yeah, Kanya.
Yeah, it's a follow-up actually to what Divya was saying. It's just that in Sri Lanka, for example, doulas are actually not allowed. People are not even allowed a birth companion, their husband or mother or nothing. So it's actually not a question of hostility. It's more just hospital policy. And so my question is quite specific to me, but I found one doctor in the public sector who would be willing to allow, but they want me to be certified before I can attend a birth. Whereas I understand that attending a birth would be part of the certification process.
No.
So I just wonder, no, it's not.
So unlike doing a checklist activity of observing births, we don't ask for that. If you've done the attendance, like Neha had said, and met the criteria, in fact, for most people, we say that even during the training, when you feel, again, you have to embody this. When I feel confident of going with women, I will clearly represent and say, I'm a doula in training. And while I don't know everything, but I can still be by your side. So you can start with friends, families, people you know. However, if they need a certification, then just complete these two criteria that we had listed out and you get your certificate. And then if that allows you to start functioning wherever you are.
Also, Kanya, I would say that doula support is not just what happens in the labor room. There's a lot more to it. So you may not be allowed for that last 1 hour in a labor room in some circumstances, and some of us face that. I can see some smiles because I know some of us in doulas in India also face that situation. But it's not that. It's also there's the prenatal interactions, your presence outside the labor room, your presence at home for those hours that she was laboring at home, your presence after she comes out and she's overwhelmed and she needs someone to hold space for her to process. All of that is para doula support. So that entering the labor room barrier may be real, and you may have to find ways to sort of come around that. Like you said, gradually, some doctor who allows or whatever it is. I don't think that's the only element of doula support. In fact, there are some doulas who do not offer the labor support part because they can't. Maybe they are not able to go in the middle of the night or whatever. So they can still offer support, but say that I'll do everything else. So I'll do classes, birth education with you. I'll do prenatal meetings. I'll help you to plan your birth. I'll help you to sort of, understand the system and be prepared for it. I will
Prepare
be
your husband for it.
work with your family.
Be on
Maybe
call.
help your husband feel more confident about what to do in the labor room. Be on call during labor. Come back and visit you after the baby is born. Come back and see you how breastfeeding is working. So, like I would say 90% of it is actually outside the labor room. That's what Harika is saying, that she is not working as an active doula, but offers all these services. Yeah. Yeah, Sanjana.
I just wanted to add that as now a mom of two, and Neha, you've been my doula both times. for me, I would see the most valuable part of a doula really as empowering the woman. For me, that was the case, empowering the woman with the knowledge of that what she knows is right. So very often I feel what happens, and I've seen that in my peers as well, is that it's a sincere lack of self-confidence, and I don't know what is causing this, this lack of confidence in your womanhood and in your in the power that you have. And I mean, for me, the doula support that you offered really was just that. I just needed a nudge to know that, you can do this, and you have everything you could possibly need within yourself and in your own at your disposal. And I mean, yeah, that for me would be the most powerful thing about a
Yeah,
doula.
I was your doula for 2 births without being there in the labor room for either.
Exactly, and without even being in the same city.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's all, really, both times. Yeah.
And it's different for everyone. There are some people who do need that physical presence to feel supported. And there are some who don't. Like Sanjana said, what she needed was really reassurance and someone to build her confidence and to remind her and to help her husband feel confident. That's what she needed. There are others for whom that's already there. They just want a person with them in the labor room. So it really depends on, which is why, what we offer. And this is something we talk about very extensively in communication and client interactions. We do not offer anything standardized. What we offer is highly customized to what that client needs. Somebody else had a question. Surabhi, were you asking?
Yeah, I had a question. So, yeah, very aspect of it which we'll probably study and everything. I just wanted to understand if it's possible to try out some of the massages or something on somebody who's either been through birth or who has been giving, because the amount of pressure, again, I know it depends from individual to individual, but sometimes just doing the right things, understanding the position, understanding the angles physically will be more helpful. So is there a possibility to do
Yeah,
that as well?
absolutely. Absolutely, yes. I think that, like I said, in the classes, we are not doing the theory of massage. So for example, there's one module which is on touch and massage.
Okay.
We're not doing the theory of it. We're actually trying to understand how touch and massage feels for you.
Okay.
And you will, of course, in the class, there's the limitation in terms of trying it out on yourself, on maybe someone in your home, but really for understanding the techniques in a more embodied way rather than just as a technique that you read.
Yeah.
And I would say that you I mean, you're in Bangalore, right? So
I'm in Mysore. Yeah, pretty close.
You're in Mysore. Yeah. So, I mean, our local meetups, we do that. So when we meet, when some of us meet locally, there are skills that we want to do trials on for each other. Some of us went for a Rebozo workshop, and after that, a couple of times we've met to do like trials on that. So that is something in-person stuff we do with our peers. And then I would say that the way the class is designed also will enable you to understand this a lot better and try it out with your existing clients. You're a yoga teacher, no?
Yeah.
So you can actually do, try out different soothing, different kinds of massage techniques in your yoga class. You're expecting them. So it's a lot easier in I would say, for someone like you.
I would like to add to that as well. And no matter how well you know a technique, when you put your hands on another body, they'll tell you what feels okay or not.
It's true.
So a little higher, a little harder, to the left, a little less. The mother will tell you.
So it's basically a feedback loop, right? My only concern is, okay, I should be comfortable touching somebody, right? So that is a barrier I want to kind of like break and move ahead.
Now say, for example, maybe you're not comfortable touching anybody. Then your job would then be to empower the father to touch the mother.
Okay. Makes sense. Yeah.
So 2 layers of support. Somebody's behind her, rubbing her back while you're sitting in front of her, encouraging her. Once again, we say this is such a personal journey that you really can't say, I support this. Because that's not that the woman will be the person who will decide what works for her, not you.
True.
And the example I'd like to give is that I'm a really good cook, and I decide to cook a non-vegetarian dish from every state of this country. And I invite Surabhi. and she's a vegetarian. What are you going to eat on my table and go? Nothing. Got it?
Fair
No
enough.
matter
Yeah.
who I am. Doesn't matter who I am. What will matter is, can I be fluid enough and have the intention of supporting her? That's it.
Makes sense.
And rest will come.
And
Got it.
adding to
Thank
your
you so much.
analogy, your story, Divya. So I don't know how to cook vegetarian food, but I know Surabhi is vegetarian. So I make an effort to cook up something which I've never made before, but I'm like, I have to feed her. But I make it with that intention of wanting to offer her good food. And she's going to love that because she's going to feel so
Yeah.
grateful for that intention of you,
Or you
making
could
an effort to cook
you could
something
just
that
you could just order in and yet enjoy the meal together.
True.
And the thought that, oh, she specially asked for vegetarian food because I wanted it.
Mm.
Think of that sentiment rather than, oh, I know how to cook it. So that the attention of a doula is not on herself, unlike every other professional.
Mm.
Which is why we're able to stitch the different aspects of what she needs in her pregnancy into one fabric of support. Otherwise, everything is out there.
True. Got it. Thank you
So
so
as
much.
a yoga teacher, she will come and talk to you about many things. But as a doula, she'll come and talk to you about, my husband says this, my mother-in-law says this, my doctor says this, my ultrasonologist says this, my nutritionist says this. Everybody, what they say will come to you. And then you'll stitch it together like, oh, this is how it makes sense as one unit. Otherwise, they were only bits and pieces.
Mm.
That would be the bigger skill.
Got it. Mm. Thank you.
Now that I'm saying, it's a bit of a mothering skill, isn't it?
of course it is.
Divya, if I may say one word. So just like mothering, as much as you do this work, it also calms you down. It also tones you a lot, and you become a different person eventually, I think.
Absolutely true, Harika. Absolutely true.
I wanted to add on to the doctor question that was there. So first of all, you as a doula, if you're going in as a doula, you need to put your thing first, that who is the client? What are you going for? You're going to support the mother. So you're not going anti-doctor. First of all, you need to understand that doula is not anti-doctor or anti-intervention or whatever. We're going as a supporter. Whatever support, as Divya said, the mother will define the support for her. So when we approach the doctor as if we are not anti-doctor, but mother supporter, birth supporter, and I always believe that actions say louder than words. So when they see you in action in the labor room, they themselves take a setback, and sometimes they feel that, okay, I am now relieved that this person is there, and they start taking us as part of their team. Sometimes doctors only tell the mother that till the time you want an epidural, but till that time the doula is giving you the verbal anesthesia, enjoy that kind of motivation and all that. So they do acknowledge your work. It is just that maybe one first birth or second birth, you might have that kind of a resistance or a hesitation. But as they see you working, you actually become part of the team. You do. Thank you.
Thank you, Yogita. Dipti. Yes, Dipti.
Hi, so I don't have any question, but I really wanted to join this last year, but somehow I was not able to. And I am teaching yoga since 20 years now. And from past 9 years, I'm teaching prenatal yoga. And like last year, there were 80 females who delivered. And now more than me, like I am definitely excited for this course, but more than me, my city is excited. Because everybody know that I'm doing this from Dora Collective. And like, the female who said that about the Kolkata city. So there was a time when Indore was not aware about prenatal yoga. So that's how I feel. If you have a lot of passion about your work, you can definitely raise the bar basically. So there were a lot of gynecs who were against me, and now they're the same gynecs who recommend me to their patient to go and do yoga with Dipti. So that is what I want to say, that this course, I'm so really, really excited and wanted to do from long back, and finally the wait is over. So thank you so much for this, and India really needs this. We really need this. So thank you so much, Divya and Neha.
Thank you.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing you. I think there's always a right time for these things. They happen when they're meant to. And, on this thing of even doula work, I really believe that we are right now at like kind of a tipping point. Till now, hardly anyone, like I said, knew about doulas, and most of us would get little work. We still do get only little work. We don't get too much work, but I really feel that's going to change in the next 2-3 years, because that awareness and that awareness that there is something like this that I can look for is suddenly increasing in the last, like, I would say 1 year or so. We ourselves at Doula Collective, we have a directory of our doulas, and we do keep receiving queries for other towns where we don't have anyone. Like Calcutta, there are multiple queries that come. Indore, Orissa, places in UP. And sometimes people ask, will you come? Will you travel? It doesn't make sense. You can't travel across the country to support. So I really think that, it's really nice to see that we have Mysore and we have Indore and we have Calcutta, because there is definitely a need for someone being there at these locations to offer. It won't happen immediately. So it's not like you do the course and you suddenly start having a lot of doula work, but it's not that kind of work either. It is the kind of work which you gradually build and you do along with whatever else you are doing. And when your intention is in the right place, you will enjoy the work that comes at its own slow pace. That's kind of the nature of it.
Neha, can I know anyone from Tamil Nadu?
Who is there? Who else do we have? Shunmati, where are you? What brings you here? We have a few other people who I think said they can't come at this time. So we'll send them this. Salem, there you go, Madhu.
Thank you.
Khadija is from TN and Shunmati is from Salem. The Tamil Nadu group is getting larger.
Bigger, yeah.
Our next retreat has to be in Tamil Nadu.
I was going to say exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
We are going to welcome you all with full
Let's do
excitement.
that. Okay, anyone has any other questions or anything that you want to share?
I just wanted to let you know how a collective works. So let's just put your hands up if you're already a part of doula training, and you'll see how many of us keep coming back. There you go. There you go.
We're all excited to see who are the new people who are joining.
Because we interact quite a bit with each other. Yeah.
Any of you want to say something? Sneha.
I want to know what will be the timing for the session every week,
Good question.
and which day is it planned?
Yeah, so we did actually keep that a little flexible, because we thought the group that's joining will take in your inputs. Divya and I are a little flexible with that. So we typically choose either a Wednesday or a Thursday.
Not
And
a Thursday,
sometimes
we're doing Connect on Thursday.
but another time on Thursday?
I don't know what time.
Okay.
7:30 to 8:30, I'm a little occupied.
So
but
what I was thinking is, depending on who all are joining, I'm going to check with each of you once on what your schedules look like. And we will fix one day of the week and one time, which can be anything between like 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. So I'll take your inputs and we'll try and, fix a time that suits most people. Currently, we have been doing for this, the last batch we did Tuesday, 7 p.m. That was what worked for everyone. We have one batch that runs on at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. There was another batch that time didn't suit
3 o'clock
anyone.
in the afternoon.
3 o'clock in the afternoon. There was another batch that it didn't suit at all. We did 8 o'clock in the evening. So if any of you have any specific slots where you're absolutely not available, do share that with me, and we will kind of keep that in mind and try and find a slot that suits. If you want to share right now, if there's any particular time that doesn't work for you, it'll be good to know that.
And how long does each session last?
1 hour.
Any time after 5:30 doesn't suit me, because
Okay.
that's when my kid's nanny leaves. So yeah, so I would want to be free by 5:30
You
from
prefer
the session.
afternoon? Yeah. What about you?
Yes, yes.
Khatija, what about you? What time suits you? Is afternoon time suitable?
The forenoon sessions
What?
until up to 3.
Okay. Yeah, let me take all the inputs and I will check with
Yeah,
you.
that works with me. Any time from say 11 to 3 p.m., 4 p.m. works for me.
Okay. Anyone else with specific inputs? You can type it out also if you want.
So 2 to 4:30 works for me in afternoon, and after 6:30 I'm okay anytime PM.
Okay. Cool. I think that's what even Surabhi says. Surabhi says, okay, I'm just going to make a note of these. Cool. You can also just message me directly in case if there are anything specific. We'll fix the time by tomorrow once we get your inputs, and we'll let you all know. Nandita, do you have any particular time that doesn't work for you? Sanjana says early afternoons are hard, evenings around 4 p.m. Okay.
I think anytime before 7, afternoons work best.
Okay.
But anytime before 7.
Okay. You're on mute, Divya.
A little bit between 3 and 4 works.
Yeah, looks like
Looks
that's
like
what's
that time.
Yeah. Okay. So tentatively, let's keep 3 to 4 on Wednesdays, Divya.
Yeah, Wednesdays work.
Thursdays.
No, Thursday, 3 o'clock, we already have Connect.
3 o'clock. Yeah, correct. So Wednesday, 3 to 4.
Either Wednesday or Tuesday, whichever works.
Okay, so let's currently block Wednesdays 3 to 4. I'm thinking that should suit everyone, except Sanjana said not suitable, but then this seems to be the one that works for most
About
people.
3:30 to 4:30, does that work?
She can work it out. No, she's saying she can figure it out. Okay, sounds good. All right, so you guys can, if you want to like confirm your enrollment, and it's absolutely okay if your little ones are with you when you're breastfeeding. It's an interactive, casual space. It would, of course, be nice if you cannot have distractions so that you can fully participate. Because we're going to talk, we're going to do some activities, breakout rooms and stuff like that. So if you can manage to be away from your little ones for a while, it's good. But if they want to be there, if you want to feed them, that's all absolutely fine. There's no formality whatsoever.
Yeah.
If on some particular day you have something you can't come, just drop a message and let us know. We will create one. We have a larger WhatsApp group which has the whole community, but initially we'll create a smaller group with all those of you who are joining Seminar 1 to help you get started with the enrollment and the schedule and the Zoom web meeting link and all that. I will share with everyone through the next few days. So once you kind of are sure you want to join, just go ahead. I've sent you guys the link on the email, which takes you to the Graphy platform. go ahead there and you can click on seminar 1 and enroll. There is an option to make a payment in 2 parts. So you can pay for seminar 1, so 50%, and then 50% will come up after when we are midway.
No, a month. It's monthly.
A month. Okay. And once you do that, you are enrolled, and then the rest of it will all keep opening up on Graphy. Graphy is where you will go back to learn. For you, Nandita, Divya will speak to you. We'll speak to you and add. I don't know if you're already enrolled in Graphy.
No.
You need to be enrolled, I think. Yeah.
I have already been enrolled.
Yeah. For Nandita and Sanjana, because they're coming back, we will.
Sanjana, I'd have to, but so Sanjana will wait till the 10th and then I'll enroll her. But meanwhile, Sanjana still has access to.
And for the first webinar, we'll just send everyone a Zoom invite. After that, it kind of comes up on Graphy itself. So the link to the live class will also be there. But the first one, we'll send everyone a invite.
Yeah.
Okay, so do try and let me know by the next 2-3 days your confirmation so that we know who all are finally enrolling and I can send you all the remaining details.
Also, I want to know, like, do we have to take a printout? I mean, is there any manual or something?
It's all there online.
Yeah.
You don't need to. Sometimes some people prefer to print out and then read, but you don't need to. If you can, if you open it up on your laptop, it's all there. It's a lot of videos and some reading material and presentations. So it's all, you can just do it all online. You don't need to print anything. There are 1 or 2 assignments where printing it may be useful, but it's not necessary again.
Okay. Thank you.
It's already, there's a kind of pre-module already open. So there are some suggested leads and stuff already there. So you can open it up and see what it looks like. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.